Hello, Aligned fam. This episode has been a long time coming because I meet so many amazing empaths, good, genuine people. A lot of you guys are my clients. I work with you directly. And just throughout my life, there's so many. I think I'm very blessed with amazing people in my life. But what I've noticed is a lot of you who are empathetic and kind and good people sometimes you kind of forget the difference between what it means to be a nice person and what it means to be a good person. And oftentimes, being nice and having a good intention of being a good person, we've lowered our boundaries. We've lowered what we're willing to accept from other people. And therefore, in turn, we actually hurt ourselves. So, this episode is dedicated to having healthy boundaries, really loving yourself and therefore being able to love others, and really differentiating the difference between a nice person and what it means to be a good person. So a lot of us have kind of functioned in this world where we want to be good people, we want to be generous and kind, but we've been taught to be nice, and we've been taught to be what I call it agreeable, polite, not rocking the boat, very surface level meanings of nice. Yet that's not really what makes a good person. Now, a good person is someone that always does the right thing, really carries good intention, follows their own moral compass, and they're willing to do all this even if it disappoints some people, even if it causes friction, it may cause some tense discourse among a group. And they're willing to be a good person and willing to sacrifice being seen as nice to other people. And therefore, I kind of mentioned this, but by being nice, we've lowered our standards, we've lowered our boundaries, and therefore we're disrespecting ourselves. And by being nice to others, we actually end up hurting ourselves. So if you want to be a good person to yourself and to others, let's really learn the difference between what it means to be good versus what it means to be nice. So let's start there. Um, Nice is someone who's obedient, they're polite, they're palatable, they're easy to digest. They don't really make anyone comfortable. That's kind of the goal. Just make everyone feel comfortable, feel peaceful, make others feel good about themselves. Just to be kind and polite. A good person is focused on integrity. They're focused on treating people with respect. They're focused on doing the right thing. A good person, when they're asked to do something that they're not comfortable with or doesn't work within their moral code, they wouldn't accept it just for the sake of being nice. So I want to review some common things that people do to be nice and how what we've been trained to be nice versus what a good person would actually do. So, three key themes I see a lot when it comes to people who want to be nice. First is being responsive to everyone and everything at all times. So, nice people feel the need to respond to requests and things ASAP. And what they don't realize is not everything and everyone deserves or should have direct access to you at all times. You actually don't need to respond at all. Like, you don't owe anyone anything. In fact, sometimes silence and no response is the better thing to do, especially when you're entering a very, heated conversation that you don't want to engage in, and you don't want to like lower your energy, lower your vibration, or you just don't want to get into toxic back and forth conversation with someone who just doesn't see eye to eye with you and maybe have a completely different moral compass than you. So what is the point of even, getting into a toxic back and forth? A good person responds or not responds according to their own priorities and their moral compass. So, a good person, it really does require you to really know yourself, know what you stand for, what events and people you're willing to give attention to that really aligns with who you are as a person versus it's just something that's not worth your time. Second thing is nice people tend to always say yes. Okay. Nice person thinks that they always have to say yes, even if like their workload's already pouring into their weekend, even though they're completely exhausted and burnt out and they just need a self-care day. Um, Even if they don't really enjoy the company of the people that are asking them to hang out, but they do it anyway. That's kind of some things that nice people do, always saying yes, but not really checking within themselves whether or not it's good for them or it's something that they actually want to do. Because a nice person tends to not want to disappoint or other people, but then in a way ends up hurting themselves. So there's something I want to highlight is there's this misconception about healing. So obviously in the last, couple of years, people have been really big on, healing, doing in their work. And I define healing as you working through your traumas, you're forgiving yourself or other people, you're shedding thoughts, ideologies, subconscious beliefs, actions that are not actually aligned with you. You've just been programmed to do it. So you're kind of deprogramming yourself to really find out who you really are. That's healing. And people think that, oh, once you're healed, you see people all about like love and light. You see the good in people all the time. You assume the best, and everything's all butterflies and rainbows. And people sometimes think that's what healing is. But that's not true. So healing doesn't just make you softer, healing makes you more aware and it awakens you. So it makes you more sure of who you are, what you will and will not accept, and therefore you actually have stronger boundaries. You're actually a more empowered version of yourself. That's what healing is. And sometimes that's just saying no to someone. That's just sometimes saying like, this doesn't work for me anymore. That's like saying this relationship's always been one-sided and I don't want to engage in this relationship anymore. Healing could be, this is actually a really unhealthy work environment. I don't want to do this anymore. So healing is when you own who you are. You've just rediscovered who you are. You own it. Then you only say things that align with your authentic self, the highest version of you and your goals. You're no longer a doormat, but you're actually a conscious creator of your life. So that's what really healing is about. With that said, healed, good people, they don't care to be nice. That's not their benchmark anymore. They're not really worried about, making other people uncomfortable. What they care about is being authentic. What they care about is sticking to their own moral code. They'll only say yes to things that align with their purpose, their excitement, makes them come alive, and things that they actually want to do and actually want to pursue. Good people say no more than they say yes, because again, everything they're doing has to add to their life mission, their goal, what brings joy out of them, and makes them genuinely happy. I mean, just aligning with, successful people, they oftentimes say no more than yes because they have a very clear vision of what they want to accomplish or achieve. And if the requests coming in don't align with that, they just say no politely, but it's still a no. And so a healed good person, anything that's not aligned with who they are, doesn't get their time or their energy. And the third thing I see a lot of nice people do is overthink. This queen at overthinking, queen and kings. So nice people tend to overthink because they care again too much about what other people think and too much of pleasing other people that they don't want to make the wrong choice or upset other people. So for those of you who are feeling stuck between or among choices, there's an example that I always share with my clients and people that I coach that will give you clarity. So I want to share this with a larger group that I know definitely can benefit from this. So now think about when you're lost on a street. Say like, you're in New York City, you get out of a car, right? Get out of the subway and you are not at your destination yet, right? So you're kind of like looking around being like, where am I? So you pull up your Google Maps and you put out your destination, right? So your starting point, your destination, and you're still not sure, should you be turning left or right to get closer to your destination? So by standing there, we've all been there, standing there holding onto Google Maps, you're not getting any clarity when you're just still, right? You're not moving, you're standing at the same point. You still don't know whether or not you should turn left or right. It's when you choose any direction, say just turn left, and you start walking, do you realize, are you actually getting closer or further away from your destination? Same thing happens with life and decisions, right? You have to make a choice. You have to act. You have to move in order to know if you're getting closer and closer to your goalpost. And the beautiful thing is, say, for example, you turn left and it's actually getting further and further away from your destination. Now you realize you're heading in the wrong direction, you can always course correct. Same thing applies to life. But you have to make a move. You have to pick a direction in order to know whether or not you're getting closer and closer to your goal or further and further away, right? And I would always say in life, when you don't get a clear hunch, like I should turn left or right, you're really kind of stuck about 50-50. Chances are either direction is going to be the right direction. Or either direction, you're not going to be way worse off. That's why your gut hunch is not saying definitely turn left, right? If there was a clear, definitely turn a certain way or take a certain choice, you should definitely follow it. Your gut's always right. Your intuition's always right. But when you're kind of like flip flopping, chances are like you would be happy with either direction and you won't be worse off in either direction. Or in either directions, there's going to be pros and cons. It's just a matter of you deciding which pro and what con you want to take on. And most decisions in life are not life and death, right? You can course correct, you can change. So I would say whenever you're stuck kind of in a fork, trust your gut. If there's no clear direction, honestly pick any direction that you feel will maybe inkling better. And if it turns out to be not right, you can always go the other direction. So that's something I would want to share with those of you that do overthink and constantly have to like juggle between choices or among choices. Um, and yeah, one thing about good people is they don't care about upsetting like other people because they care more about upsetting themselves and their own desires and what they really want. And the common thing I hear is people are like, oh, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be seen as selfish, right? Think of the term when someone calls you selfish, okay? When say for example, your friend says, oh, you're so selfish for not wanting to come to this party with me. It's not selfish of you for trusting your gut and being like, I just don't want to go or it's not the right fit. That's not selfish. What's selfish is your friend expecting you to put her needs before your own. That's selfish. So anyone that calls you selfish, I'm always like, am I selfish or are you actually being selfish because you're expecting me, you wanting me to do something for you and your benefit when it doesn't serve me, right? So that's something I would say about like good people. Would they just follow what they don't follow what they genuinely want to do, what's going to add to their mission, add to their life purpose, and they're just not overthinking or worrying about what Joe Schmo would say and feel about their decision because they're so focused and aware and they own their life decisions. Also, back to the little bit of the selfish part, good people also understand that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And a good people want to give wholeheartedly and genuinely, right? Good people want to give without anything expecting back, right? So you can only give so freely and openly when you feel like you're good and you're full to the brink and you can actually give and serve other people. So it's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's not selfish to be very clear on what you want in life because when your cup is full, you have the energy to give freely with no expectation. You're able to be very clear with people on who you are and what you want to be. And that's how you really call in, bring in, and also find the people, the opportunity that are most aligned with you. So I hope that helps for all of you guys, especially the empaths, knowing the difference between a nice person and a good person. And if you're striving to be a good person, what that looks like. And just the power of really knowing who you are, doing the work, and not letting your old programming or, people kind of projecting their own issues or wants from you and really own who you are as a person and operating from following your North Star and what you want to accomplish in this life. So, see you guys soon and let me know how this episode helps you.